There we go. Okay, I think I even got the right camera in.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Yes, hi, guys. We tried to get our other program to work, and we just don't have enough bandwidth to be able to do it. So we didn't get to watch any of Brad or Krista's show except for the hilarious part where they were impersonating Brad or Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. That was hilarious. Did you want to come show me your bunnies?
This time. So.
Oh, I don't know if we want the teeny tiny ones in here, honey.
These are daisies.
Okay, so as soon as we show them, you need to take them back out because they're too tiny.
This is the runt. They're both the runt asses.
Can you show a little bit closer to the camera?
They're both runt.
You just have to hold on to them on the top, huh? Because they're bouncy like popcorn.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, if you want to bring in Princess Rosies, that's fine. I misspoke. Don't bring in daisies. Bring in Princess Rosies. These guys need to go back to their box, okay? So we always feel bad because we want to listen to all of Brad and Krista's video, but we are always having technical difficulties.
Always. So.
There is a business line that they could put in, but none of the technicians like it. They say it's unpredictable. You either have really good strength or you have no strength. At least like this, we can do our Google Hangout, and at least you get something. Okay, so we have an actual list of things to talk about today, so that should be fun.
We came prepared.
We did. Okay, so news on the homestead. It's warm. Probably not as warm as some of you guys who are in southern states. We have been in the low 80s.
Low 90s.
Have we been in the low 90s?
We hit the 90s most of the days. High 80s most of the time too, but good stuff. My favorite time of the season.
Yeah.
Of the year.
It makes us really grateful to have a basement. Let's see. So the garden is doing well. I have all my automatic watering set up. I have, what are they called? Soaker hoses. I have soaker hoses in the front in food gardens, and I have drip lines off canal water on all the trees and everything. So water has been really, really straightforward and easy to take care of. And I'm thinking when our next set of woofers come, we're going to dig some trenches and start putting in some of our Siberian pea shrub and Nanking cherry and plum pits. The reason for that is that I have all these seeds. Why don't I plant them? Yes, it'll take them longer to grow than something that I buy at the nursery, but instead of costing me $60, they're free. And Paul Wheaton says that anything that you plant, 1 in 99 will be terrible, but you'll have 50% that are good and a few that are excellent, and you know, the other 45% will be pretty good, pretty decent, and at least you can feed it to animals. And so if I use seeds, I'm again trying to close that loop on our garden a little bit. Did you want to tell them about the smokehouse?
Well, finished sealing up the smokehouse. There were enough spaces and gaps in there that cats were trying to get in, and so it was just becoming a miserable experience, and we didn't really use it. So we were hot smoking for a while as the get me by, and that just doesn't make for it's good food, but it doesn't make for great food. So got that sealed up, and hopefully, well, Julie was coming up with plans for this winter for pigs. So do you want to go down that road?
I always raise my pigs in the winter. They stay in their pen. Or just shut the door. I don't know why they're feeling that way. I raise my pigs in the winter because it gets me outside to get a little bit of exercise. The food that we give our pigs is old food storage, so it's stuff like old beans. Food that wouldn't sprout anymore, food that's not going to feed humans, food that needs to be pressure cooked because you just can't cook it for nothing.
It's a rock.
It's a rock, and it's even hard to keep it from just still being a rock after it's been cooked. But pigs can eat it. Mm-hmm. And where we have the wood burning stove going in the winter, it fits an amazing double purpose. It's just a lot easier for us to keep pigs in the winter. And we usually try to butcher them in February this last spring, I butchered 2 small pigs by myself, and it really wasn't a big deal. For us, it would be finding, John's dad has an old,
It's called a granary jack. It's a
Yeah.
tripod with a cable on it. Oh, here come the bunnies.
The extra big
We're being
ones.
invaded.
was it Princess Rosie? Princess
Princess
Rosie
Rosie.
only had 2, so these are the fattest
And biggest.
bunnies.
Oldest too. So this is beautiful. That one's pretty. They're both girls.
They all have princess names, or something like a princess name, huh?
Yeah. Be careful. That one really does freak out.
Does she freak out a little
She's
bit? I just want
shy.
to get her a little bit closer.
She's
If we keep her
really,
really
really
close, then we
shy.
can get her in close to the
I
camera.
like the gray belly and that black.
Yeah, this one looks a little bit more like Daddy. Okay, I'll give her back to you now they can see her. Okay, the reason she squeals with you is probably because you squeeze her belly. There you go. You want to show her yours?
So this
Scoot over,
is
Squirt.
this is beautiful. She's black and she has one white paw. Beautiful and pretty. I
Right
can't get
here.
mixed up with which name is which is. But they both look the same. That one looks like Rapidash, Kaya's rabbit.
That one looks like Maleficent except the white paw.
Okay, you girls. Oh, I forgot to add the talking, didn't I? That would do it. Okay, girls, go put up your bunnies.
silent.
I know. I just forgot that I need to do that. Sometimes,
It's the one because I didn't want.
hey guys. Okay, so we are
All right,
on.
go for Green Living High, Genesis Restoration. Everybody chime in and say hi. I should come up. Anyway. So yeah, we're gonna try and our next step this winter back to pigs, and we're gonna try and actually butcher our own, complete with gambrel and
Yeah, the
cutting
only
and
difficulty is
attached.
when you have a 300-pound pig and you're trying to dip it so that you can scrape it.
Uh-huh. That's
Um,
going to be the trick.
yeah, the butchering part is not the hard part.
Right. So
Yes, we're only doing it from Google Plus
Yeah.
because we could not get the.
our encoding system uses too much bandwidth for what our service provider has out here. So we're looking at possibly getting to a business line and being able to have some quality broadcasting direct from YouTube.
But it's 100% unpredictable. That particular
Well, 100%
Source
more.
is it. You either have it or you don't.
Right.
There's no like low bandwidth. It's just you don't have any bandwidth, and so it makes us a little nervous.
So it makes us jump from to use the car analogy like a guy would, we're jumping from a Chevette to a, what would be the Jaguar. There we go. So we would get a lot
With
faster.
faulty wiring.
Right. Well, no. Back to the Jaguar. It'd definitely be a faster car, but it'd be in the shop 30% more often, 50% more.
Okay. Were you able to get the link to them?
No. Well, if you wanted to copy and paste, we could copy it now and put it on the description of the other.
Okay.
So we'll try and keep talking while we're doing this, but did we just say next big milestone? So we're going to try and raise the big pigs this year and butcher them to their full weight, like 250 or 300 pounds. So it's going to be a bit of an interesting scenario because we'll have the garage and we're going to try and find rafters that we can tether, plus we'll have this granary jack and a 55-gallon drum included. It's just going to be a little bit of work, so it's a good thing that we're starting here in July because it's going to be it'll be a little bit of fun to try and figure out how to get it all to work.
If any of you, I just tried to paste the link into the YouTube comments, but it won't let me. And so any of you that found your way here, would you mind getting that link over there? I did. I just tried 3 times and it's not working.
Right.
Okay, so what else? So when our woofers get here, we're going to do some strips of fruit trees that will provide shade in the summer because currently I don't have any shade in the pasture. I can't put the goats out there. And it makes a difference. It means that either we're getting them hay or we're having them on pasture and the grass is getting too short, which it's hard on the pasture when the grass gets that short.
Especially with the sun right now.
Yeah.
90 degrees.
A really great book that I'm reading right now is Restoration Agriculture by Mark Shepard. He is really, really good, talking about having your tall trees and then your short fruit trees and your fruit bushes and the right flowers around everything that turns into its own ecosystem. And so that is what we're trying to do. As far as the question of whether or not we're staying on the homestead, why are we talking about pigs if we're not going to be staying on the homestead? And the reason is we don't know if we're staying on the homestead, and so making short-term plans like this seems to make sense. And other than that, we just don't know.
Right. Everything just kind of went up in the air with, starting last year, actually, about this time, because, well, there was cloud, and then just everything had just started getting more and more unstable as we went along. So
for those of you who don't know, Cloud was one of our goats, and she died unexpectedly last summer, and I took it really, really, really hard. It took me about 6 months not to kind of spontaneously break into tears every time I went out the back pasture.
it was her favorite goat.
Well, she was just a milk goat. For me, the milk goats are special.
Right.
I call them Mama. I feel like they feed my family, and it's an unexpected death like that where I don't know if she suffered or not. That's the hardest. If it was one thing where we went out and we shot her humanely in the head so she wasn't suffering,
Right.
it's one thing, but the way that she died was not short and painless, and that really broke my heart.
Right.
Hey guys, oh, Dort Valley made it.
Yeah. In fact, they're asking, they're getting a cow. They're having a cow who's expecting to be delivered on Wednesday.
Oh, how exciting.
Fun. That should be an excitement.
Congratulations.
So good job.
What breed of pigs do we get? We really, really like sorts of the beef.
Berkshires.
Yeah, Berkshires. We like their temperament. They're very friendly. They stayed in the fences better. They did more rooting than our Kuni mix did.
Mm-hmm.
Our Kuni mix did really well out in pasture.
Yes. We actually have a breeder about 5.5 miles away, and she came up with her own breed called Idaho pasture pigs because they don't root around.
Mm-hmm.
They did not necessarily grow as fast, but they were good eating. So, let's
hey,
see.
April, how are ya? Thank you. April's Poppy Studio time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the next thing on my list. Is I have some trees that I put about 2 feet of mulch around, some even 3 feet. I mean, a huge amount of mulch because I had them in a space where I couldn't get water to them, and they survived. And we live in a desert, guys. We do, and this is a nut tree. And so now I'm just kind of brainstorming everywhere in my brain that I can. How can I get more trees onto my property? How can I keep my goats from eating my trees?
Right.
And how can I do it on a dime? Because when the Etsy store and everything is going really well, we have more money coming in, but I don't have time to cook, and I don't have time to clean. And I find cooking and cleaning in my house and having things be in order is very therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
I love when my house is in order and I'm able to do things at a slow pace. Even now, I can still save more money than I can make. Even in my own business, I can save more money than I can make. Wow, I should stop being emphatic and moving the desk. And so I hit it's made me really, it's really opened my eyes that it doesn't matter if you're working outside the home or in the home at an actual business. It does take your focus away from your family and away from the tasks that really bless your family. And so it's, when I'm really going gung-ho on the business and I'm pushing to make money, we eat out more.
Yeah.
I had to have, when Paige broke her foot and I had too much going on, I had to hire somebody to come in and help me clean the house because it was getting really gross and I had animals that were going to die. And it's expensive to hire somebody to come clean your house. And so I stopped and I looked and I'm like, okay, why don't I take my own advice? Why don't I stop working so many hours and just do my job, which is to raise my family and to cook dinner. Speaking of which, we want to tell the girls to take the rabbit out?
Sure.
Or at least tell them to turn it off?
Yeah, answer William, he's in blue.
Not to get off topic, but I'm curious what percentage of your income is generated by the homestead. Let's put it this way. The business pays for the farm, which feeds us. If we were to actually compare how much comes in from YouTube and how much comes in from John's income, I make about twice as much as John does with our homestead businesses, but all of that money is going back into the business. Does that make sense? It goes back to pay for hay, it goes back to pay for infrastructure, it goes back to pay for camera equipment. We haven't, and that's why I'm trying to go back and be more of a mom and go back to so before we had money coming in from YouTube, I kind of held things together with spit and grit. And as money started to come in, I started to improve infrastructure, but that doesn't mean I was always economical about it. So if the money that was coming in from YouTube was actually going towards our family bills, it would be about twice what Mr. Dirt is making. But remember, Mr. Dirt is working part-time.
Right.
This isn't it. So what I'm bringing in right now is about equivalent, a little bit less than what he was bringing in when he was working full-time. So now
I missed the answer. So
you can test some of those fast-growing trees this year. Hey, Helios. So I went out and planted those trees. We'll see if they come up. I put them in the swale because I knew they would get a little bit of a nursery effect, a little bit more water in there. I haven't seen anything germinate yet. Again, our soil is not kind to anything that is not a weed.
Or rock. It's good for rocks.
It's good for rocks, yeah. Rocks that multiply there like crazy.
Right. So
okay.
April.
Let's see. I hate it when you get so busy and the home falls to the wayside. I've had a super busy week with a post-release game schedule, and I have to hire someone to help me excavate my house from just 1 week of 90-hour work. Isn't that interesting how that works? That you think that, you know, you have all this money coming in and it's so exciting. I can do so much more. And in reality, we ended up having to spend more because what Mama does at home.
Yeah, it's invaluable in so many ways.
It's not replaceable. It's
right.
Which isn't. I find that I like to hand wash dishes. I don't like to use a dishwasher, and I find that when I gave myself a little more time, instead of being aggravated at my kids for not doing dishes, I really and fighting them with it. I have found that when I'm cooking and I'm making a meal that's nice, I'll just turn around and be like, oh, I guess I'll wash those dishes now. And isn't this nice? And I'm going to wipe up the cupboard. And then I'm going to go down and do some laundry. And then I'll come back and do a little bit of work. But a lot of that had to do with that I actually got all my watering stuff bought. So I guess I can't say that it's not still connected to money.
No, it's true.
Once I got all the watering equipment purchased so that I wasn't spending so much time in the morning saving plants, it did free me up to be more of a mom, but it took money to put that infrastructure together. It's just it's a double-edged sword. What is your business versus John's business? John works commercially, and I work with YouTube. I have my Etsy store, and we're putting together the podcast. Yeah. We have our Amazon affiliates.
The ebooks, the Etsy store. Just
We sell some of our livestock on the farm. Which should have paid for hay this year, but instead it paid for somebody to come and clean my house, which makes me sick. Let's see. The goats are doing really well. Chamomile is due to kid anytime now. She is enormous. I'm really hoping we get a doling out of her because she is a very generous milker. She'll milk for years, and she's getting up in age. And it really, really worries me.
And it's good milk too.
It's really good milk. She's just an amazing goat, and I'd rather not breed her again.
Yeah, we're really hoping this is the last time that we'll have to have kids because the last one was really hard, and it's a July. It's going to be this month. Wow.
Yeah, it's anytime now.
It's going to be exciting.
And so we're down to 3 goats. We have Lemon Drop, who was Empress's baby. Chai, who was Cloud's baby, and Chamomile. And so I like to have 3 goats. It means I have 1 milking, 1 pregnant, and 1 not doing anything at any given time, which means we always have a backup.
Mhm.
So we're not having to start over with our genetics if something happens. Do you barter? Let's see. Washing dishes is my mommy alone time. Exactly, because my kiddos won't venture into the kitchen for fear of being on a drying duty. So I get to listen to my cheesy 80s music and relax.
Hey,
I agree.
that's a good plan.
And
I like that.
And that way the dishes get done the way that you want. I can stare out the window at my goats.
And I've done exactly that. I'll put Spotify on with my earbuds and just turn it up and be alone washing dishes.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
Do you barter with other folks for things you need rather than purchase them? All the time, constantly.
She's much better at it than I am, but she's really good.
But a lot of times it's just garbage, something that somebody doesn't want. I will hunt down tree service guys along the side of the road, and I will say, I will pay you $10 to drop that off at my house rather than taking it to the dump. And more often than not, they drop off wood at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already cut into sections because of the way that they cut trees when it's on the road. Shay's starting to hear here outside. I'm going to have to go do some more work here in a bit, but not quite yet. Hey, Grizz.
Yeah, hi, Grizz. He said something else when we were...
Did we miss it?
I missed it. Yeah. Sorry for the clicking too, guys. I'm trying to, scroll through as quick as I can, but and hopefully we'll be up and live again on YouTube this next week or so. We're just it has been super windy today and super hot, and so I think that's just been playing havoc with our internet.
Maybe.
We haven't had a good time all day. So let's see.
Let's see. We also have fruit that's coming on right now as it starts to warm up. We have Nanking cherries, pears, apples, clove currants, strawberries, raspberries, and then we have other fruit that is not quite ripe yet, and new trees. We have all sorts of new trees this year. I barter my art and technology skills for tangible goods for my fledgling homestead. It is how we got 80% of our seeds in raised beds. I love that. I think that's brilliant, April.
Good job, April.
I have 2 mini Nubians due within a couple of weeks. One is so enormous. I think she's pregnant with twins or fingers crossed triplets.
Right.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
I love mini Nubians. We had mini Alpines for a couple years that were really great goats. In our area, they didn't, the herds didn't either they had good milk or they had a lot of milk, and so not two. And so we had some goats that had amazing flavor, but they only gave us a pint a day, and so that's why we went from our mini goats up to our standard goats, is because we found a herd that had good flavor and good quality or good quantity.
Definitely. Okay, so here's what Grizz said earlier. He said, "Hi, Mr. Dirt and Mrs. Heaven," pun intended. It was funny.
Good job.
For some reason, I accidentally deleted it. Don't know.
Are we ready to eat?
Oops.
Oh, we wanted to tell you guys. So Paige has started to make dinner at night. She is an incredibly good
Really good.
roast maker. We've been eating a lot of rabbit lately.
And she's done it so
Did you
good.
get the table set?
Yeah.
Good girl.
Are you gonna eat?
We are going to eat, but you need to wash your hands before you guys start. If you guys want to start without her, she can. Okay. Let's see. Why don't you start making goat milk soap and sell them? I could. My mom makes soap, and she actually gave me a whole bunch of the ingredients to be able to do that.
Mhm.
My problem is that the return on them is not as large as some of the other things that I do, and while it is something good, it is not economical at the moment for me to add on another project. During the winter, I will most definitely be making soap, but right in the summer, I have to be a little bit more careful that the output, the what comes back to us is more than what I put into them.
Where it's going to be worth the time versus something else.
Because I have other things like making better movies, better videos to put on YouTube that would pay us better than soap at the moment. In winter, that wouldn't necessarily be the case.
Oh, good one. So William Harrington, do you have trouble with predators bothering your livestock?
Right now we have geese that are so loud. And we have them in with our young ducklings, which I think has actually protected them, because we have a duck setting on ducklings right now, and also young ducks, and nothing. And we have skunks and raccoons over at our neighbors.
Oh, exactly. And in fact, I have a coworker. She's about 2-3 miles from us, over on the other side of the river, and we have a third coworker who is a very big, soft-hearted pet person who gave the one across the river her whole flock of chickens. She just couldn't keep up with the animals that she had. And she had named them all and made beautiful pets with them. And in 4 days, somebody had crawled into her quite secure fencing and everything and just butchered just laid the entire flock to waste. And so we could definitely have big problems with predators, but thanks to the geese and years of experience.
I
we
think
have
it's
gotten
the
rid of
geese this year.
Yeah.
We've raised geese before, and they were all taken out by a fox because we got them when they were babies, and they're very vulnerable as babies. So this year I spent the extra money and I went and got adult geese that would protect the other animals rather than being prey.
And sound the alarm.
And sound the alarm. They're really good at that
at
about 3 o'clock in the morning. Does it make a difference what you feed your goats so the milk doesn't taste gamey? Not as much as it does the individual goat.
Yes.
Individual goats have different flavors, and while if they're on something weird, it might slightly change the taste. Some goats have extremely gamey tasting milk, and you don't want those goats in your herd. It makes a difference, your genetics.
If you do have something, if you do have a goat that gives that, it does help to immediately, like as soon as you get that goat milked, get it strained and get it into the freezer and frozen as quickly as possible, and it will taste better. Not great, but better.
Yeah, it could have a lot to do with the bacteria count. It's the same as cows. You know, if they have a high bacteria count, then the milk goes sour very, very quickly. But it can also just be that their milk is foul. Our neighbors have many Nubians. They like to chase my bull mastiff and bully him. It's so funny. My dog has no idea how to react to these little ornery ones. I love that. I love big, nice dogs that are not aggressive. I love that.
Our poor little poodle, she gets annoyed by the cats because they just try to love on her so much.
They're bigger than her.
Yeah, that's true. She has no choice.
Gather your product list and offer it in a fundraiser format for local school bands and sports teams. You'll have guaranteed sales if you can get some approved by the organizations. Are you talking about soap?
Our selling and bartering and our Homestead products, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that is all a fantastic idea. I do. And I know people that do that. I have to say that the love of my life, besides this man, is education. I like to make products, and I like to make products, but I don't know, unless it's winter. It's so very seasonal, the amount of time I have to actually make sure that I have those products available for sale. And at this juncture, I just don't have the time to get a products list together and to go out and pursue that kind of thing. Could I do it? Yes. Again, I started with the YouTube. I started with the YouTube, and thus it's where my focus has been for so long that I haven't branched off. But I agree, it would be a good idea if I could. If Mr. Dirt was home, maybe that could be something he could follow, but he's not as familiar with the products. Anything that needs to be started has to be started by me, and I already work really long hours, so I don't know how to do it at this point.
We can work on it.
Do you have like-minded people in your area to talk to? We have a huge community of people that are
semi-like-minded.
They became friends with us, and then they started homesteading, and they have more goats than we do now.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Bunnies, more.
Yeah. I was going to say fresh goat's milk is not as goaty tasting. My goats I used to have didn't taste goaty at all the first day. Right. And we have a tendency not to drink milk after the second day. After the second day, we don't drink it. Yep. We like to drink it the same day. So it's very true. But that's the case with any raw milk.
Yep. And you can always tell because goat's milk is usually homogenized, and so when you see cream on the top and milk on the bottom, then it's been a couple days. And
then I use it for cheese.
Yep.
Oat alfalfa hay had really gave our goat milk a really bad flavor a couple years ago. Won't give goats and milk that again. And we had a problem. We have a problem with alfalfa hay too, in that it founders our goats. Around here, there's a lot of. It's very hot, very, very rich, mostly alfalfa, hardly any grass, and our heavy producers have a tendency to go lame when they eat it, and so we prefer 3/4 grass to maybe 1/4 alfalfa.
Yeah. Well, and most of the hay is for cows around here, so that's why.
Do we have a goat that seems to be a favorite or unique? I had one that had to be everywhere I was. Chamomile, definitely.
Well, chamomile now. Last year was cloud.
Clyde was very shy. She didn't like to be around us. That's why she
Well,
wasn't my
right.
favorite. She
Yeah.
just was a milk goat.
Gotcha.
And I love milk goats. But our most
Chamomile will knock you over looking for attention.
she will sit on your lap.
Literally. After
And-
she knocks you over.
Yeah, and it's because she is a bottle baby. None of our other goats are bottle babies. They want to, if they're scared, they'll come to me because they have put 2 and 2 together that I feed and protect them. So if they're afraid, they will come to me. But Chamomile will come to me because she wants some love.
Definitely. So, let's see. So, Gina, how much do you think you have to grow to feed your family?
In which avenue? Are you talking fruits, garden? Right now, we're not going to the grocery store for anything. We have rabbit. We're butchering rabbits about every 2 weeks right now. And I just butchered some ducks, and I've just butchered some geese. And we have some ducks that are just about ready to be butchered.
And we still have the pigs for
And we still have some pigs from the last ones that we butchered.
So currently we're eating in a combination between out of our food storage and what we're growing. And
what we're getting from the store is cheese.
Yeah.
Because Chai is in milk, but she's giving half a gallon a day, which is plenty for us to drink, but it's not enough for me to make cheese. And I can make cheese, but we've had a hard time finding a way to preserve it.
Yeah.
Unless I'm making it every couple days.
I don't think we like it as well when it's aged. I mean, it tastes good, but it's our family seems to like it better when it's squeaky cheese and curds.
We like to eat the curds. Sorry, we like to eat the curds, but we have yet to have success with aging a cheddar. And so I've made the microwave mozzarella and the stovetop mozzarella. But the ones with citric acid in it make blisters in my mouth. I don't do really well with preservatives and that kind of thing. John really likes the mozzarella when I make it. So a project that we could probably work on when chamomile comes into milk is that I'll probably get my cream separator out again, and we'll start making butter and put it in storage and start making cheese and do that. Goats eating wild blackberry bushes really does make their milk sweet. Most brush taints the flavor, but wild blackberry bushes sweeten it. Oh, I bet it does.
Yeah,
that sounds delicious.
Tasty.
We don't have wild blackberries in our area. We don't have wild anything in our area.
And if we had tame ones, they would just eat them to the ground. But that is a good idea.
But I know in moister areas that blackberries are a pest, and so that would be awesome.
Definitely.
How long does a goat give you milk after they're done milking or kidding? What do you do with them? So an average lactation is 6 months. My goats are very generous milkers, and they will milk for
Chamomile went
ever.
3 years? 2 years?
No, we've never had her go any extended length of time. But like chamomile is really hard to dry up, and she probably would go for 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
And so average is about 6 months. Our goats will milk for as long as you keep them milking, and they give as much. Usually chamomile comes down to half a gallon a day after 6 months, and that's because I encourage her to go down to half a gallon a day. I always feel like it's hard on an animal to be giving almost 2 gallons a day, which is what chamomile gives, is almost 2 gallons a day.
Yeah, just trying to find that much calcium to put in the milk.
Yeah. I just worry about her when she's giving that much milk. Would smoking the cheese make it last? No, smoking the cheese would not make it last. It would make it taste really good.
Really good.
The problem is that we have a very dry atmosphere here in our little desert, so we would need to make. A lot of people use a wine refrigerator to keep their cheeses at the right moisture level while they're aging, and we could do that. My little brother has aged cheddar in a little cave at the little farm that he's at. He's a woofer. Can you freeze goat cheese? You can freeze mozzarella goat cheese. Any other cheese you do is going to break up and be nasty.
Grainy, nasty, yeah. It's pretty gross. Okay, Helios.
You were doing sprouted grain from your mother. How did that work out? Worth doing yourself? In the winter, I think that sprouting the grain and doing the wheatgrass juice and that kind of thing is good for livestock. I can't have wheatgrass. I'm so sensitive to wheat that I can't even have it in the grass form. Okay, don't take him down so quick because I can't finish the question. So my mom does a lot of sprouts from sunflowers and peas and a lot of legumes, and I feel like those are really important live food to eat in the winter. And what I believe is even better is food that's out in the greenhouse once you're capable of doing that. But the mats are amazing. For me, why is it that I still don't do it myself? Because my mom does it and she gives me mats to feed to my animals.
Well, again, it's a time investment versus return.
And
so.
it's not a huge time investment even,
Right.
but
Well,
it's
especially
just,
when mom gives it to us.
if mom gives it to us, why would I want to make it?
Right.
We had a huge lightning storm that killed both deep. Oh no. Both deep freezers in our refrigerator. So all we have are our canned goods and the boxed pantry stuff right now. I can't wait until our freezer and stuff gets here so we can get more. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, April.
Was that food that you'd grown yourself and were they full?
That would be just killer for us right now. In fact, that happened. Yeah, that happened in our old house.
This house too. The door got left open.
That's right. Oh, that was.
We just had an idea. We all want you guys to be happy and successful always. Was just an idea. Did we? Okay, Jamie. Did we miss a question?
No.
No, you were talking about the list for the local schools. Yeah, and like I said, I do have friends that do that, and they have their soaps in all the big grocery stores and stuff like that. For me, it's just, at the moment, doing the YouTube channel is a little bit more lucrative rather than trying to start over from scratch and start a whole new business. We already have 3 businesses associated with their channel. Adding another business, and I might walk away. When we were back in Colorado, we had a goat from the line that could milk for 3 years straight without freshening. The lady bred Son, she was a progressive Amish, and her goats were beautiful. We had to sell the doling before we moved to West. Oh, I bet that broke your heart. So the things where sometimes I think about moving somewhere else and not being on the farm, and it always comes down to the goats. To me, goats mean health, and it took us so long to find these goats that even though sometimes I don't want to be farming anymore, I don't know how to not have the goats that we have now because it took us so long to find them.
Yeah, years, literally.
5. Was it longer than 5?
Longer than 5.
7?
It was 7 or 8. Yeah.
Took us forever.
And we will never replace them because.
Yeah. Hey, Anthony, how do you store flour and sugar for long term at your homestead?
Flour.
I like to put them, here we go, for something that we don't use that's in small bits like dehydrated carrots or dehydrated onions. We put them in these little baggies. We put them in a 5-gallon bucket. We put the lid on and seal it. For, I don't know if I have a bigger bag, for anything that we go through more than a quart at a time, for anything that we go through more than a quart at a time, I will put them, what are those, half-gallon size?
1 gallon.
1 gallon. Okay, so I put those in 1 gallon size. So something like flour, I would put in a 1 gallon size. Sugar, I would put in this size. But these baggies then get put in a 2-gallon or a 5-gallon bucket and sealed with black marker and a date.
Now, 2 things to remember. Don't go chintzy on your freezer bags. Make sure to get the really good name brand Ziplocs. Because otherwise the seals will break on you. And don't stuff them full to where they're just hard as a rock. Let them have some give, and that way they will mat down and pack on each other. Can I touch it now?
Just wait till we finish the question.
Okay, so.
Do you have your baby goats pre-sold? We don't. I'll tell you how much we sold our last goats for. Our last kid that we sold for $250. She was totally worth it, and she didn't come with papers. I was willing to give them papers, and they, having milked her mom, they didn't care about the papers, but they could always come back and get them from me. The mom, she was giving close to 2 gallons a day. Are you nervous?
No, I'm just trying to keep up on the feed.
Hold my hand.
People are talking, and we're trying to get to as many questions
we'll get
as we can.
I'm answering Helios.
Yes, I know. Good job, Helios.
And so I sold Mama for $400. She was totally worth it. She was only in her 2nd lactation, and she came with papers, and I had her trained to stand so that she would never in the milking stand lift her foot. You could milk her anywhere, and so she was worth $200 just as a milk goat. But having had these babies and being in her 2nd lactation, which she's starting to peak in her 2nd lactation, and the fact that she was so well trained to the milk stand added another couple $100 to her value. And so usually I have babies sold within a few days.
Yeah, they don't hang around long.
They don't hang around long. And it's always hard to decide which one to sell and which one to keep.
Yeah, so especially if we get a doling from chamomile.
Yeah, if we got 3 dollars.
They're all ours.
We'll keep 1. If we have a really good mama, we'll keep 1 doling and we'll sell the rest, just because When they're giving almost 2 gallons a day, and we're a family of 4, you can't have more than 2 goats lactating at a time, and it's better to have 1.
It's a little intense.
Okay, so do you use a root cellar for food storage? We have a utility room that's next to our laundry room that stays pretty cool, and we keep all of our root storage there. It's away from sunlight, it's away from everything, and unless we use the wood-burning stove down here in the basement, we don't have a problem with sprouting or rotting.
Unless
Don't use potatoes that have sprout nip on them, or they'll
Correct.
rot instead of sprout, and then it will be disgusting.
it's so bad.
I grew up with a root cellar, an actual real root cellar, and it didn't keep things any better than our little utility room does. I mean, it had the venting, it had the dirt floors and everything, and our little utility room works just as well. So don't go spending huge amounts of money retrofitting a root cellar. It's not worth it.
Or what my parents did actually is they also dug a hole and put an old chest freezer in.
Do they use it still?
No, they put my poor little brother to work for a summer digging rocks and digging that hole.
See, and that's why I think it's useless. It's an interesting idea, but if it's not convenient to your house, you won't use it. That's something that really you need to remember, is that putting huge amounts of money into something
But it's
is
good.
a nice thought.
It's good for putting angry teenagers
Yes,
to work.
it
or
is
something.
that. It's good for angry teenagers. You own a vacuum sealer. You can keep stuff much longer by vacuum. I do not, but Helios has been talking. Oh, Helios, I forgot to get back to you about that one. Helios and I were talking about it. We don't, and I've never used one. Or if I have, it was like at my mom's or something. I have a pretty sizable garden and make everything from scratch. I have a lot of canned products and I'm exhausted, right? I do not have small children. My youngest is 16. I honestly admire how much you get done. Well, and thank you. If I didn't, here's the thing. If I didn't have my kids, I would be more exhausted than I am. When Paige broke her foot, I just about died because she does all of my small animal chores. She goes out and checks on the animals. She's able to run out and turn water on and off for me. And she makes dinner.
Right.
And so a 16-year-old, has kind of their own life going with their own business that they're working on. They have friends and other things they're doing. Whereas right now, my kids, they're learning how to butcher. They're learning, they're doing chores still. And so a lot of the reason that I started doing that was to keep them from fighting with each other and keep them from fighting with each other.
Right. And it worked out very well. Now they're not
worked out
fighting, and we're getting dinner.
And I will tell you that I do pay Paige. She's gotten to the point where I'm so proud of her. And because there's income coming in from the farm, I do pay her because she works harder than any little adult ever has. She's such a good girl. Hey, Deep South.
I didn't do it.
You did.
Did not.
You did delete it.
No,
I saw you delete
I
it.
did not. So hi, Deep South Homestead.
Hey, Wanda and Danny.
There you go. So Brad and Christy.
Hey,
did
Scratch
really
Made.
good.
Yes, we did do a recent sub, didn't we? And your channel looks awesome.
Yeah.
They were all packed with locally sourced. Oh, I'm so sorry. They were all packed with locally sourced beef, pork, and poultry, as well as cheeses and herbs. Now we have to do mostly store-bought stuff until we get. Oh, that just makes me sad.
And if anybody just tuned in, April actually had her freezers go out during a lightning storm, and it's horrible when that happens. When a compressor dies on them, and you just lose either hundreds of dollars worth of food or hundreds of hours.
How long did it take you guys to find out that you had a lightning storm? Because what I would have done in that situation is, as things started to thaw, I would have got out my pressure cooker. I would have got out my pressure canner, and I would have got out my jars, and I would have just kept canning and canning and canning. But if you didn't realize that they got hit, I mean, that's totally different. But a lot of times in prepper communities, what's the book, 1 Second After?
Yeah.
Okay, so the book 1 Second After, they talk about how their freezers go out and they're trying to cook up their food so that it stays good.
Mm.
But what you want to do is, as things are thawing, pull it out. As something thaws,
Keep the frozen stuff frozen if you can, or as long as you can.
and pull it out. Anything that has started to thaw, put it in your jars, start pressure canning everything, and that way you don't lose anything.
Yeah. In fact, and we were going to get the books, actually. That was going to be my preferred book of.
Yeah, 1 Second After. If you want to be scared crapless,
that's a good one.
read that one. It's really scary. Do you currently have pigs? We don't. We did start some in the spring, and they escaped
Promptly
out into an open field where we could not recapture them without pushing them out onto a highway. And so we took out a gun and shot them, and I brought them home and I butchered them quickly. I didn't plant a garden this year, first time in a long time. I've been very limited on what I can do anymore. Hope to have it figured out by next spring. See, Grizz, that's kind of how we felt this year. And it's why we started the straw bale gardens, is because they were up to my level. Like, let's see if I can show you how tall. So the straw bale gardens come about here, so I don't even have to bend over to work in it. And so I found, so if I had a strong teenager around, what I would do is I would hire a strong teenager to come and stack the straw bales for me, and then I could do the rest of it myself. And next year, that is probably what I would do, is when I have woofers, I will have them set up the straw bales for me. I preferred them stacked 2 layers deep rather than 1, just because then I could have the ducks around the bottom, and the ducks couldn't eat the dirt. Because the ducks they'll come up next to that and eat the dirt out of the grow bed part. But the whole raised bed thing with the straw bales, I think, is amazing if you're in pain, because all you have to do is set up a drip line with a soaker hose, and it's automatic. All you have to do is plant. I love it. And I do have a row garden, but next year the row garden is just going to be for the animals. I'll put in things like sunflowers and maybe some corn and anything that I can think of for the animals. And I'm going to use a drip line off of our canal water rather than off of the well. And I'm just going to grow all of our own greens and all of our own food in the straw bale system, because it's been so easy.
Definitely. So April gets back.
We were actually away. Oh no.
Yeah, there was nothing.
So we got back, it was too late to save anything. Homeowners insurance is paying for the value of the stuff. Oh,
wow,
good,
that's good. Yeah.
That makes a huge difference. You just can't replace it. No, you can't.
That's true.
When
It'll take some time.
your source makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, you don't run the Walmart Supercenter.
Yeah, it is good, isn't it? I didn't want to read it. John was listening a lot to Glenn Beck at the time that book came out, and he said, "Honey, you gotta read this." I'm like, "You don't understand. I was raised on this crap. I'm already freaking out. It's built into my DNA to be worried about the end of the world. If I read this book, you're not gonna like me anymore, because I'm gonna become the preparedness Nazi." That's exactly
kind of what happens. Wait, that's exactly.
Made me crazy.
Yeah.
Someone turned. Oh.
For freezer when I was a kid. Yeah.
Oh
Didn't know
no.
about it for a week.
Somebody turned off the freezer in our garage when I was a kid. We didn't know about it for at least a week. Ew.
And
yeah.
I pulled the plug on ours in our old place for a couple of days, but we saved. Did it save it? Most of it?
No, it kind of half-thawed things, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what happened
So
to our stuff here too.
Straight to the garbage.
Yeah.
So.
We lost our freezer and fridge last week. Fortunately, have backups at work.
Oh, very nice.
So were you able to take it to work and put it in your work freezers? Sorry, that was Scratch Made Homestead. Denny Jarvac is the preferred brand and model for veteran food storage pros. Really, Helios. Have I seen that one? Jarvac. That sounds interesting.
So let's see.
I've never heard of that one.
Let's go. Sullivan Homesteader. Do you rotate your crops? For example, if you have enough tomatoes canned, do you still plant tomatoes? Do you dehydrate? Yes. Okay.
I actually do a rotation system in our garden itself. It doesn't matter how much I just planted of beans. In 2 weeks, I'm going to plant some more beans all through the season until I just know that there's going to be no production. And I had, for instance, I have replanted squash every 2 weeks in different spaces, not because I think we need that much squash, but because I don't know if we're going to have some weird weather anomaly or some watering spot isn't going to get somewhere, or the chickens are going to get out. So by having my crops in different spaces and set back, for instance, we had frost.
July
our first
28th actually here.
Yeah, June.
Or June, yeah.
June 28th.
So.
Hold my hand, please.
I'm holding your hand.
Please. Hold my hand.
I'll do it with
no,
this
stop it. I can't read it. I can't.
I know,
I know, but I'm trying to finish it. Do we
dehydrate?
dehydrate? Yes. We prefer dehydration to canning. The reason is that you don't. It's not heavy. It doesn't take as much space to store. You can take it with you as snacks. And so when we do apples, we dehydrate apple slices. We dehydrate it as apple leather. And then what we do can is we can some applesauce for cooking later, but we don't can any like pre-made meals. We do parts of meals like beans, applesauce. What else do we can?
Everything.
Dilly
Well,
beans.
no, dilly beans, yeah. Well, and back to the rotation as well. We actually do that with our animals too. So we
Yeah.
will put birds, and as soon as they're coming up ready to butcher, give it a little bit of time, and then we'll put a pig down and get it going. And then once it's down, then we'll go to
Yeah,
sheep.
when we butcher
Yeah.
anything, we bring something else on. So when we're butchering a pig, we're bringing in lambs. When we butcher lambs, we bring in a pig. When we butcher ducks, we bring in geese. And so what whenever we butcher something, something has to come in now, because most things take about 6 months. The exception to that is rabbits and quail. They mature much, much faster than that, but most other animals, it takes about 6 months. I'm a prepper. Do you store separately in case of power outages and possible disasters, in case you lose anything from tornadoes or floods? Our families all have food storage, if that's kind of a question. We don't keep anything separate as far as like a bug out space.
Okay. Yeah.
We do have our camper that is at John's parents. We had that situated with some food storage. We actually need to get our camper. We have so many free campers. His dad gave us a camper, and then our neighbor gave us a camper. I think they all think we need to have more fun in our lives.
Why would they think that?
But we could probably get the RV situated with some food storage
which
in
is actually what I'm planning and scheming on how to do. So videos to come shortly.
But a lot of our storage is actually in bulk, in 5-gallon buckets and stuff like that. And so we store most of our meat on the hoof. We don't butcher huge quantities of animals all at the same time. We butcher them on the hoof. Love your hotbed.
I didn't do it.
I didn't say you did. I was just reading it. Love your hotbed greenhouse videos. Makes you want to get rabbits just for the. Oh, I know, right? I love my rabbits so much. Right now, pretty much the only meat we're eating is rabbit, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 does.
It is versatile too, so it's not like we're getting tired of eating rabbit.
The only problem is so we have ducks, and one of the reasons I keep rabbits is for the poop, but my ducks, rabbit poop is like 95%, probably 99% green food stuff, and so our ducks go underneath our rabbit hutch and they eat all the rabbit poop.
It's kind of gross.
And so I need to fence it off so they can't get in there because they're eating all of my manure. It makes me angry.
Right.
Chamomile is a registered alpine doe, and I think she's 8 now.
Purebred. Yeah, she's about 8 years old.
She's an amazing goat. I love her so much. I have an inexpensive $100 food saver, priceless. What's a food saver?
The vacuum packer.
Okay.
So that would be good. Let's see. Grid.
I would have to drive 60 miles to find a hay bale in. Oh my goodness.
Timber country.
I'll have to build out of wood, get a sawmill, and several acres of timberland. We'll have to find some kids to help.
Yeah, that could be fun. So.
Well, you could just do hugelkultur then. I mean, I don't think that hugelkultur is as tidy to use. Oh, okay. Ignore anything I said then. If you have wood, so our big one that's in the greenhouse is not straw bale. There's not a piece of straw in it. What I did is I took logs and wood chips and layered in rabbit manure. I had the rabbit cage actually suspended over the hotbed. And so the rabbits would pee and poop on the wood mulch, and then I put in more wood mulch, and then they pee and poop, and then I put in more wood mulch. And it's been the best bed that I have out there. And I made the bed out of wood pallets and just used elbow brackets on the corners to hold them together, so it didn't take much. And so that's what I did. I layered wood chips, not sawdust, wood chips, big chunks. And then on the top, once it was filled, I took sheep's wool, old dirty sheep's wool, and put it in and stuffed it on the top and mushed it in. And then I put another layer of rabbit manure, and then I put on dirt. And that was how I did it. And I've never had better tomato bushes, and everything else that's in there is exceptionally happy. And because of the size that it is, I put a sprinkler in the middle and then turned it to half so that it wasn't sprinkling outside of the bed. And it's just so good.
So,
I live in LA. It's so hot. Any breed of rabbit that is best for the heat.
Don't insult Las Vegas. It's not LA. It's LV.
Sorry, Las Vegas. Didn't see that.
My grandfather actually did rabbits down there, and this was in the 60s. But it's not necessarily what breed of rabbit, it's how you house them. What he did is he dug a hole and he made an underground tunnel system do you remember what
A
that's
warren.
called? Yeah, a warren for the rabbits. And he just left them all down there and, pulled them out as needed, and they would do the same thing. They'd butcher their bunnies and eat them and everything. And he never had a problem, really.
The only problem you'll have is if you have fire ants in your
Mm.
area. Fire ants will get into the nest and they'll eat the babies.
That would be gross.
That would be gross.
Yes.
So you have to kind of watch for what bugs you have in your soil. Let's see. I think we're just about ready to head
Yeah,
out.
we're kind of getting close
They
to time.
feel like fire.
When they bite.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
See, one of our freezers stored separately from the other appliances. Oh, gotcha. Yes.
We whiffed at Deep South. What? Scratch Maid, you whiffed at Deep South Homestead this weekend? Have I seen that? I think that's how I found you guys. Isn't it? Because I think I saw you on. No, I didn't, because somebody called you Scratch. Who was it? Was Brad saying hi, Scratch? And I went and found you. So I don't think I've seen that. Did they put it up on their channel? Did Deep South Homestead show it?
And we're probably not going to be able to make it back.
Yeah, okay.
We're out of time.
We're out of time. So everybody go check out Tommy's channel. He is off-grid. Okay, you keep changing it. It used to be.
Yeah, maybe it's off-grid.
Is it Off-Grid
Homestead?
Nation?
Oh, yeah, off-grid nation.
Or Off-Grid Homestead?
Off-grid nation.
Off-Grid Nation? Tommy.
Google Tommy.
Why would I suddenly be having a hard time with that? Okay, so go check out Tommy, Off-Grid Nation.
Yes, exactly. And happy Independence Day, everybody.
Well, it's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy July 3rd, everybody. And,
It was my last.
we're
Yes.
truly blessed to be
We
in
took a video of the fireworks last night.
Yes,
Did
it was
ya?
fun, huh?
Well, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
It might not be that good of a video, but you should go and watch it.
Exactly.
One's
And
dad has.
As our doctor friend says it, we are very grateful to live in the least unfree nation in the world. So,
That's awful.
yeah.
Okay, so go check out Tommy, and we love you guys. And we forgot to tell you that we weren't going to be doing as many videos, but it's too late. I love you guys.
Bye.
And go check everybody else out. Bye.
See ya.